In our previous video, we were able to understand how the flow of the machine learning algorithms actually work. I can say the training of the machine learning and everything that to do with machine learning. We were able to understand the flow or from that of the starting to that of the ending point. So we know that the starting has to do with that of the gathering of data, everything concerning data preprocessing and all those that. Then later we are going to apply that of the machine learning algorithm, I can say machine learning models, and then we expect to get a predictive outcome. So in this particular session, what we're still in that of the gathering of the data. So let me just remove this. And for the pre-processing and the presentation of our data, we are going to make use of that of the pandas library in Python programming language. So in case if you don't know about pandas and you want to learn more about pandas, there's a link in the description down below. I have a whole lot of pandas tutorial where I make use of pandas and data analysis. So in case you are fully interested, it's available on my channel. In case if you want to go direct, the link is on the description down below, so you can just click on it. You can check a whole lot of things. So we're still going to employ that of some of those pandas functionality to our data, because we know we are going to clean the data, pre-process it. But in this case, we are going to make use of pandas a little bit, but we are going to make more use on this of the Scikit-Learn more and pandas itself. So but for the presentation of data and the structuring of data, we are going to make use of pandas. So to import pandas into actually have pandas installed by making use of going to this of your search bar here, type cmd pip install pandas. So I already have it installed, so I don't see the need to actually install that again. So I'm going to say import our pandas. Simple as that. Since I already have pandas imported, so there's a naming alias you can actually give it, but it's not a must. You have to give it the name. I have to give it any other name of your choice. I say as PD. Remember that you can actually give it any name of your choice. So since now we have imported pandas, we can actually create a data of our choice, and then we'll present the data. Then we'll actually get a feeling of how data can actually be written. Remember, there are many ways to actually get data. You can write it by yourself, you can research, you can actually web script, you can actually buy data, you can actually make use of APIs to actually get your data. There are so many ways that I can actually be gotten. So in this tutorial, we're just going to focus on the simplest way. So the first step, we can actually create a data. Let's say I create a variable. This is going to be a dictionary. So let's say I create a data, or maybe it's going to have two features. When I mean features, it's just more like that of the colon name. So let's say the first one is, let's look at worked. You can say worked underscore years, and then these are the data that comes with that worked on underscore year. Let's say this is just the data that I'm trying to say how many years you work. So let's say I can say if you work for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years. So let me actually bring another one down here. Let me actually copy this. Make sure to put a comma at the end. So I can say if you give it 100, 2000, 3000, 4000, and then 5000. So this is what I want us to look at this data, because we're going to make use of this data to actually train our model, like that of linear regression. We're going to manually solve this, and then we're going to make use of this Scikit-Learn to actually implement it. So I can say this is going to be our salary. Let me make this a small letter. So we won't have to be writing capital and small letter, messing up these two guys. So we have the worked year. Remember that this is a dictionary, so this is how most of the time data is being structured. So we can actually view this in that of the use of the pandas. So we can say our PD. See now PD is now represent our pandas, so we can make use of that of the data frame. Remember, if all these things are still confusing you, I made a full tutorial on this of the pandas, everything from beginner level to that of the advanced level. So all these things shouldn't be hard for you to actually understand. So if you are interested in it, the link in the down video description below. You can also check it on my channel. So in case anyone you feel interested on, you can actually watch it, or so for you to gain a little bit knowledge. So I want to represent this of our data. So what actually happened there, I created a dictionary with a variable data. So this dictionary, this is going to be this is the key and these are the value. This is more like this is the colon name, these two guys, and these are the values that falls down below. And then we can actually view this that more that of the human readable format. So that's where we make use of this of the pandas of the data frame to actually visualize it a little bit better. So let's actually print this of our df. Remember that df is the variable. Most of the time I might tend to see this more of the df. This signifies just a variable name we give. We can start to give it any name. So as we go on, we're also going to see where we're also going to change the names, give it a different name entirely. So let's actually see what our data actually looks like. So as we can see here, we see that the worked years and the salary. You can see you worked for 1 year and the salary you were paid maybe $1,000. 2 years, the salary tend to increase to 5 years, 5,000. What is it called? $5,000 or 5,000. So these are the index start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is actually in Python itself or pandas itself actually tend to structure the data. Okay, to like I said, to give these data that of the indexes. There is a full reason. There's more I can say more complex reason, and there's more explainable reason for this. So consider this is one of the way to actually get data, actually writing the data. But the data writing data like this might not really be worth much, because when it comes to machine learning scenario, data that will tend to make use of a huge amount of data. They are not just kind of small data. So let's say I want to download that of the Titanic data set. When you say data set is the data that you save. The full data is that is just the data set. So I guess if you hear somewhere, that's just the data set. So in case you want to download that of the Titanic data set, which is a popular data set for machine learning scenario, which the main reason for this data set is actually to predict maybe if somebody survived or somebody didn't survive. You can read a whole lot of concerns of data sets. It's a popular data set. So in case if you find the reason to actually install this data set, so you can actually say Titanic. So that should be Titanic data set CSV download. So you can actually download it from many sources like this of the Cargo. In case if you are interested in downloading it from Cargo or from GitHub or from the Stanford University. So let me just actually go to this of the Cargo to actually download the data set. So remember that before you can download the data, you have to be signed in. Don't worry, you're not going to pay any money or less. But to download this particular data set, you don't need to actually pay any money. I wonder why this is wasting time. So when you load the website, this is basically what you are going to see. This is the actual data of the Titanic data set. From this of the share H updated 4 years ago. You might want to download the latest, but it doesn't actually matter. So you can read the description. The sinking of the Titanic is one of the most famous, blah blah blah. Now let's go. What did I do this? So what we're actually interested in this of the downloading of Titanic data set. But let's look at more on this of the Titanic data set that we actually looking at. Where is that? That should be somewhere down here where we can actually have a view of it. Let's actually look at that. Should be so about this file. Wonder why they didn't have much of this explanation. But the main ideology is that each passenger has an ID, whether if a passenger survived, a P class, the name, and a whole lot of things. The main and another thing you should have the it says the SIB, SP, the page, the ticket, the fare. So the main ideology of this actually this Titanic data set is more like a ship that boarded a passenger, and then this ship got had an issue on the way. So just trying to predict people that actually survived, whether some people survived or not. So based by making use of some of all these features that we actually have here. So if I want to download it, just click on this download here, download. Remember that you need to actually be logged in to actually download that. You'll be prompting to log in, whether with your Gmail or your email, any one of your chat. But in my case, already have that already document. This was my document. This is the Titanic data set. So what I can do, I can just copy it. I can move it over here and then paste. Okay, so I can paste it directly here. So let me just open my this is my desktop. This is the ML tutorial, so I can just paste it here, so we can basically make use of it. So it's already appeared here. So I can actually open this of the data set, and then we can actually look at some of the things that is on this data set. Then we're also going to make use of it. So this is one of the second step. You can actually try to gather your data. Another step, you can actually make use of APIs that are available. There are some API that you can use to actually download this of the Titanic data set. Or if you have Seaborn and installed on your computer, you can directly make use of that of the Seaborn to actually grab this Titanic data set. So let's say in a situation whereby you want to get maybe a different type of data, like you want to predict football matches, or maybe you want to predict forest market, you want to predict the stock market, predict maybe stock prices, maybe an estate prices. What you can do, this type of data, maybe many ways to grab them. You have to do them manually and move around to actually grab the data, or you can do that of web scraping by making use of web scrapers. Like Python will have that of the request. You make a Ajax request. We have that of the Selenium. In case for a site that may render on that of the JavaScript really heavy on that of the site, we have that of the Playwright. We have that of the Pipeta. The whole lot of frameworks. The light of the Mechanic Soup. This framework can also help you to web scrape that of the site. So we can see together data is naturally a pretty easy step, or one-way step to actually get your data. You can see the first data, we have to actually write this data, but this data is not actually enough, so we need to actually get a larger amount of data by actually downloading it, or you can actually web scrape and do a lot of other things. So let's actually load this off our Titanic data set that we have here. So to do this, we need to we can say make use of that of the panda. So we can say our pd.read underscore CSV. Remember, when we look at this file, you can see that the extension is that of the CSV, so we can read it by that of the CSV. And remember that is in directly on our working directory, so you can just copy the path, or you can just write it directly. So what do I need to do that? So I can just copy. I think the name should be more than enough because we're in the same part. So let's actually run. Let me just print some few parts, so I don't need to actually print everything. So you can see our df.word head. So in case you don't know what I did, we'll just actually print the first 5 from the first to that of the 5th element. So I don't need to print out everything. Okay, so when we printed it, I will see that this is that of the index, and the passenger ID is 1, survived 0, P class 3, and a whole lot of other hidden, you can see other hidden colons or other hidden features. This is the fare. How much did he pay? He paid $7, and this guy paid $71, and this guy is planning on surviving. I don't think this guy is actually serious. So by probably looking at it, you can see that the fare actually tends to have more. Because I can see the target is actually more this of the survive. So, but let's actually look at some other things like this of the cabin. This guy does not exist. This guy does not exist, and some actually exist. Backed. You can see S class, C class, S class. There are a whole lot of other things. So you can see that now our data comprises of the 12 columns, and I can see this is almost thousands of rows. This is actually good for any machine learning models that it can actually learn pretty well from this of the data rather than this small amount of data we have here. But linear regression can actually fit properly well on this of the this small data we have here. So because linear regression, it doesn't actually, when it comes to a real world scenario, it's not actually being really much. There's actually other machine learning model that outperform this linear regression really more than you can expect it. So I see we're able to load our CSV data that we actually gotten. So They can also make use of Seaborn, but I think with this, we actually have a pretty little bit of knowledge on how this loading of the data. Then what next we are going to understand is that when we look at this cabinet, we have something now. We have this back, we have something of S, C, S, S, S. So we are going to actually go into what is actually called categorical and that of the numerical values.